This summer, the State Historical Society of Iowa has put out a website with primary source sets specifically designed to incorporate Iowa history into our work with our students. I wanted to take a moment to kind of go over the website with you and help you be able to navigate it because it can be a little wonky, as I discovered this summer. So, to reach the website, it's off of the iowaculture.gov website. You can also access it from the email that I sent you on August 16th. If you can't find that email, just feel free to shoot me another email and I'll send you the link right away. So, what this primary source set does is that it allows for social studies teachers to be able to look at primary sources connected to the state of Iowa and be able to bring Iowa history into their work. They also provide this primary source toolkit, which is full of excellent sources to be able to help students be able to digest and learn from these sources. And so we'll take a real quick look at that. When you pull it up, it's a 54-page document, but there's a lot of stuff in it for K-12, so you wouldn't necessarily use all 54 pages. If we look at the table of contents, you can see it's divided up into K-5, 6-8, and 9-12. What it does is that it, first of all, gives an overview of what primary sources are and why they're important to use in the classroom, some guidelines to be able to integrate them into your classroom, and what types of sources can be primary sources. If we skip down to page 27, for example, this is where we get into classroom activities for the 6th through 8th grade. I just chose that span because it is one of the earlier spans for teachers that are part of this email string. If we scroll down, you'll notice that they'll have documents dealing with primary source documents, as well as then worksheets for students to be able to analyze primary source documents. They also have other resources such as for photographs, for audio recordings, for video recordings, as well as political cartoons. And each of them come with a student sheet that can be adapted into your classroom to meet the learning targets and goals you have for your students. If we go back to the website, the primary source set website, I want to show you how you can search for specific sources. So like I said, this one gets a little wonky. It took me a little bit to figure out, so I hope this brief explanation helps you. You could start under here with subject. And they've divided it up into what we would expect for normal subjects: world history, U.S. history, geography. And then they get into specific ones like immigration, law and government, social movements, etc. So we're just going to go ahead and maybe pick U.S. history. Now, it doesn't close for you, so you're going to have to close it yourself. And then you can also divide it by time period, so they divide it up into major time periods, as well as grade level. Now, please note that if you go into grade level, there may not be sources assigned to a specific grade level. So I tended to not use grade level when I search. I tended to use just subject and maybe time period. And then you click filter. And when you hit filter, then it will filter out all the ones that match U.S. history. And as you can see, they didn't change a whole lot because it's connected to Iowa history, and of course Iowa history is U.S. history. So let's try another one. Actually, if you're going to try another one, you have to hit the clear button. So it'll clear it out for you. And then you can pick a more specific subject. So for example, if we go down to social movements, and then we click it close, hit filter, then it'll pull up ones that are just associated with social movements. Now, underneath this, it'll list all the tags that can possibly relate to these. But if we go to one that says school desegregation, then it will lead to sources related to just school desegregation. If you click others, it'll go to broader topics. So It gives a little background on school desegregation. It gets into then the primary sources with questions that help drive student inquiry. And all of these are connected to Iowa and Iowa history. Some of them, though, are tangentially related. So, for example, when you get into Governor George Wallace's attempt to block integration at the University of Alabama, that's not Iowa history, but it impacts the people of Iowa. So, how did other people view and act on their view of school desegregation? So you can help students make connections. Well, if this is going on in Alabama, what might be going on in Iowa at the time? And then, of course, there's links, for example, this teaching guide, which will just be a printable version of the website. And then, of course, if you want to print out the images and documents, because your students may not have web access, or for whatever reason you want students to be able to maybe annotate the document as they read through it, you have the opportunity to do that here as well. So that's just a brief overview of the new primary source set website from the State Historical Society of Iowa. If you've looked at the new standards, Iowa history is in every grade level, so it's going to be a big focus for our work in the coming years, and this is a great resource to help get you started on how to bring some more Iowa history into your curriculum. As always, if you have any questions or would like some support in using this or any other resources for your social studies classes, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can contact me at malexander@crprairie.org, or my office is across from the library at Creek. If you want to just drop in sometime, I'd be happy to work with you as well. So thank you again for watching this video, and let me know if there's any way that I can help support your work this year or in the coming years.